Illness can make your world feel smaller, but your life is still written on a vast timeline. When the body breaks, the mind listens, and everything becomes louder. Most people think sickness is one problem, but it often arrives as three at once. The body hurts, money tightens, and the question of meaning starts to tap on the glass. This episode is not a promise of miracles, but a map for keeping your flame alive. Because even in a storm, there are small levers you can still reach. Healing is rarely a straight line, and survival is still progress. So we'll build 4 pillars: stability for the body, protection for finances, space for the mind, and fuel from meaning. Not to erase pain, but to help you move with it. Because you are not the only one walking this path in the dark. Long illness doesn't just change muscles and organs, it changes the nervous system's rhythm. Fatigue, pain, and lost sleep can drain attention, patience, and hope. That doesn't mean you are weak. It means your brain is working under load. So we start with a small control loop, a few simple actions repeated until they become a rail. A consistent morning light cue can help your internal clock find its footing again. Sleep is not a luxury in illness. It is maintenance for the mind and body. When energy is scarce, reduce what steals it and protect what restores it. Food doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be steady, gentle, and possible. Movement can start absurdly small and still count as real medicine for momentum. Your only job is to choose the next step you can actually do, not the one you wish you could do. Tracking symptoms is not obsession. It is translation between your body and your care team. Clear information turns fear into decisions. The goal is not to control everything. The goal is to reduce chaos. Long illness is like climbing in fog. You don't need the summit today. You only need the next 3 meters. Rest is not quitting. Rest is part of the schedule. Small routines loosen big knots over time. When symptoms spike, returning to breath and basics can be a life raft. And as the body steadies a little, the other pillars can finally hold. Because the second storm is often financial, and it can cut deeper than people admit. Medical costs are not just numbers. They become weight. Illness can shrink income, while time keeps charging rent. Insurance can help, but it can also add complexity when you have the least energy for it. This is why researchers call it financial toxicity, stress that behaves like a symptom. We fight it with 3 conversations, as early as possible. First, talk to the clinic. Ask what is essential, what is optional, and what alternatives exist. Sometimes there are equivalent paths that cost less without costing outcomes. Second, talk to billing and insurance.
Ask about coverage details, approvals, payment plans, and assistance programs.
If paperwork is drowning you, ask for a navigator. That is what they are there for. Third, talk to someone you trust and build a short survival budget. In survival mode, you protect the essentials first. Cutting costs is not shame. It is strategy. And if you can, spread the load. Family, friends, community, resources. Money stress may not disappear, but it can become manageable. Then comes the third storm, the mind asking, quietly, what all of this means. Illness can hijack your attention with one endless question: what if? You don't need to delete fear to keep living. You need a way to hold it. One helpful shift is to separate pain from identity. Pain can be present, and you can still be more than pain. Some days you will feel sadness, anger, or nothing at all. Acceptance is not surrender. It is choosing not to waste strength on what cannot be forced. Then comes commitment, choosing a direction based on values, not moods. Values are the North Star that still works in fog. When the mind spirals, you return to your compass, not to perfect certainty. This is how you live while hurting. You make room for the feeling, then take the next step anyway. Consistency is quieter than motivation, but it lasts longer. And sometimes you need a guide: therapy, counseling, support groups, or a trusted clinician.
Shared stories don't remove pain, but they reduce isolation.
When the mind has space, a deeper question arrives: meaning. Meaning is not always a grand purpose. Often, it is a small reason to show up today. Sometimes meaning is a person you refuse to abandon. Sometimes it is a promise you want to keep, even if the promise is small. Sometimes it is a craft, a skill, or a curiosity you can still nurture. Sometimes meaning is helping someone else carry one piece of their day. Meaning doesn't deny loss. It places loss beside what remains. Growth after illness can be real, but it usually starts as a seed, not a victory speech. When meaning grows, it reinforces every other pillar. You don't have to win against illness today. You only have to keep your inner flame from going out. Now we turn this into action. 1 week, one small steering wheel at a time.
Day 1. Write one honest page. What scares you most, and what help you need most.
Naming fear turns it from a monster into a coordinate.
Day 2. Send one small message. Can you listen for 10 minutes?
A steady human can be stronger than a perfect solution. Day 3. Build a survival budget for the next month or two.
3 essentials, 3 cuts, and 1 backup plan is enough to start.
Day 4. Prepare 3 clear questions for your clinician.
Good questions turn appointments into decisions you can live with. Day 5. Choose 2 small anchors, gentle movement and morning daylight, if possible.
A small walk is not nothing. It is proof you are still moving.
Day 6. Pick 1 value: family, dignity, learning, kindness, creativity.
Then do 1 5-minute action that matches it.
Day 7. Review without judgment. What did you keep alive this week?
Even dim days count, because they are still days you survived. This is how you rebuild. Not in one leap, but in small reinforcements.
You won't see the whole future yet, but you can see a little farther. And when you can, share your light, because community is a medicine too.
The goal is not to be fearless. The goal is to stay connected to life.
Body, money, mind, and meaning are not separate problems. They are one system. When one pillar weakens, the others can keep you standing until it returns. And if darkness becomes unbearable, ask for urgent help. That is strength, not failure.
Your suffering is real, but it is not the whole of your story.
For now, choose 1 small step and let it be enough for today.
If this helped you breathe a little easier, leave a like for Arcane Knowledge.
And subscribe. Each week, we'll build another small bridge through the unknown.